Hello, my name's Sinéad Crowe. I translate from German to English, and today I'm going to read from Lucy Fricke's Daughters, which is going to be published by V&Q Books on the 15th of September. And I'm going to read today from the very first chapter. I'd been stuck there for 3 days. Rats scurried through the alleys at night, tourists amassed around the Trevi fountain during the day. Security guards with machine guns outside the museum, dark underground stations where the filth couldn't be seen, just smelled, and if I wanted to visit the Vatican, I had to book online. I was staying at the Babylon, a budget hotel staffed entirely by Koreans. Maybe it was because I hadn't planned on coming to Rome, but I fell in love instantly. I'd always had a quiet admiration for places and people that run to seed with their heads held high, so sure of their beauty that they don't give a damn what the rest of the world thinks. It was a desolate diva, this city, utterly foul. The only thing it kept clean was its churches, while outside, pigeons shat on every monument. I'd only intended to pass through, to go from the airport to Anamnina, the last stop on the metro, and to take a bus from there to a town in the mountains where there was someone I'd been meaning to visit for 10 years. He knew nothing about my plans, and he wouldn't have cared anyway, being long dead. But you have to say goodbye to everyone, even the dead, especially the dead. And I'm afraid I had an unhealthy attachment to this man, basically worshipped him. It was liable to become a problem at some point, the way everything becomes a problem at some point, especially love, especially men. So I'd been making my way. After 10 years, it was time to start making my way, I decided. But now, here I was, stuck. On the day I arrived, I stood at the bus station watching people boarding this contraption they call a pullman. A contraption that always seemed to be running late, that had been trundling the streets for decades with the last few rows of seats missing, the windscreen wipers too. But I'd once spent days being carted through a jungle on the bed of a pickup. I'd boarded a rickety propeller plane in howling winds, and I'd ridden pillion on a motorbike while the rider was on the wildest acid trip of his life, as he informed me mid-journey, turning his head to give me a lingering look. Fear was not one of my more prominent traits. So why couldn't I leave this city? Was I lazy, stoic, or just a coward when it came to accepting realities? Truths I didn't like, truths such as the death of this man. I was pondering this as I stared up into the Pantheon's dome, into the middle of the whole, into the grey sky over Rome, into the eye of God. A few metres away, a pink helium balloon had got stuck. One of those balloons that were being handed out outside every Victoria's Secret in the city at the time. An ad for fucking underwear was stuck in the dome of the Pantheon, and with every waft of air it danced a little towards the exit, towards freedom. Hundreds of degenerates were transfixed by this spectacle, all eyes on the pink balloon, phone videos recording, and when it finally floated out into the Roman sky, the crowd clapped and cheered, as if the Messiah had just appeared. My bag began to vibrate just as a stern, quiet please came from the loudspeaker in 4 languages. I answered anyway, and Martha was on the other end. "Where are you?" she asked. I glanced up at the ceiling as if to double-check. "I'm in the Pantheon." "You answered your phone in a church?" "It's not a church, it's the most god-awful tourist trap on the planet. We're packed in like sardines. I wouldn't be able to get out even if I tried." "Please do try," Martha said in a low voice. "I need to talk to you alone for a minute, somewhere quiet." "I'm in Rome, they don't do alone here," I said, as I tried to find a route through the masses. "What on earth are you doing in Rome?" "Nothing, I just thought, everyone should visit Rome at least once." "You're getting odder." "Well, at least my crises are getting more refined as I get older," I replied. "We're having a rare old time right now, my crisis and me." I passed the biggest door I'd ever seen in my entire life. It was at least 6 meters high and made of bronze. If the doors of heaven are anything like that, I'll never get in. "Still there, Martha?" What followed was a dangerously weak yes. I'd never heard her sound so weak before. There was something so ominous about this yes that I didn't hesitate for a second. I didn't ask any questions. We'd known each other for long enough now to recognise when one of us was about to crack. Marta would start to cry on the phone, and crying on the phone is even worse than crying alone in the back of a taxi. You can't clutch onto someone on the phone. A voice is less than a little finger. I would fly back right away. Just as I was hanging up, a pigeon shat on my head. I'd learned by now that this wasn't a good omen.